last time on Dragon Ball Z.
So his dark agile armor evokes in the night. His helmet covers all but his red glowing eyes. His trunk-like right arm holds a great...
How has the lore changed exactly? What new character developments are going to take place? Find out today.
Hey, what's up guys, it is Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I got for you today is our Friday community video, and today is July 3rd, so it is July 4th weekend, and I just hope that all of you guys have a safe and fun weekend. So today's topic is going to cover the lore videos that we had from this past week and the comments therein. I didn't choose all of the comments, I wanted to keep it as short and simplistic as possible, but here are a bunch of my favorite comments from throughout the week. And if you don't see yours, maybe because you commented more than once, and I try to keep it to one or two per person, just so everyone else gets a chance to be highlighted in the video. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it with a comment from Virgil Riot 70. Nice, enjoyed this. If I want to imagine how our story could go from here, I'd like to picture that she eventually meets up with Hilda, which is somewhat a reprisal of Soul Calibur 4 when they fight each other in the opening sequence. Because, well, as we know, in Libra of Souls, the Wolf Crone Kingdom is looking for her, as well as the rest of the ones who saved Nightmare, or served Nightmare. I imagine Hilda confronting and fighting Ivy while deeming her to be a threat, but Hilda senses Ivy holding back and not fighting with the intention to kill makes Hilda stop fighting her and ask to explain herself. And just as Ivy reveals her regret of serving Nightmare and that she deceived this whole time, Hilda notices that Ivy admits her guilt without hesitation, and upon learning the truth, she decides to spare her, similar to the ending in Soul Calibur 4 with Siegfried, and decides to give her some aid in destroying Soul Edge. This would be the first step of showing Hilda's usual personality, that she spares opponents that are wholly not evil, as well as Ivy using Hilda's trust to get to Soul Edge and destroy it. Thank you for that comment, and these are in reference to the lore videos from this week, by the way, so if they say pronouns that you don't recognize for certain characters, it is Ivy, Cervantes, Siegfried, and Nightmare, just so that can add some context to some of these. But yeah, I like Hilda's personality stayed pretty much the same, and Ivy is more ambiguous than she has been in the past, which I like. Obviously, none of the old stuff matters because it's no longer canon to the story, but it's nice to see they brought over some things from the past to kind of add to their character instead of taking away. Metal Raptor says, her Soul Calibur 6 story covers a lot of ground. They did significantly better job with writing her story than in Soul Calibur 5's, which felt more like an overly convenient, out-of-character plot device. It was also a great move on their part to cast Miyuki Sawashiro as Ivy's new voice, as she's one of Japan's greatest voice actresses. I'll have to give her Soul Calibur 5 credit for that decision. I really love the direction they've taken with Astaroth in Soul Calibur 6's story. In the past games he was mostly all grrr, roar, as he went around killing things, but this time around they actually made him intelligent. Nothing more I can actually add to that, Steve usually knows what he's talking about, so if you guys want to add to that, you can go and find Metal Raptor's comment and tell him what you think about it. DeathSoul777 says, rad vid as always. A couple thoughts. It may be in Cervantes' video, but is Ivy a product of that word? If so, that's disturbing. I don't know. On a less distressing note, how would Taki even know about Ivy's heritage? It doesn't come up in Soul Edge and Soul Blade. Just always found that weird, man. I'm not sure about, everything else that comes with, Ivy's coming to fruition, we can say. None of that was really explored or given any thought. I'd assume that, since, Cervantes is so old, and as well as Ivy, due to the longevity of their life because of, Soul Edge's influence, that maybe her mom just, passed a long time ago, and it was, a fleeting thing because he was, a pirate, but that's just inference. I have no idea, outside of that. As far as Taki, I have, there's not much to say on that either, but I do like to think that the special shinobi and kunoichi that are trained from her village are actually, trained to sense the energies of Soul Edge and Soul Blade, and that's how they can kind of read that, because Soul Edge and Soul Blade have the souls of the people they've defeated trapped inside of them, so it's kind of like a a key reading thing, I guess I want to say, and that would go in line with like her ninja-esque personality. But again, that's just inference, and I can't really say anything definitive on that. But thanks for the comment. Terrence Sproul says, "Great video, G. Did you think in the next Soul Calibur that we'll see more of that mysterious figure that talks to Ivy?" Indeed, I do, and I have some hypotheses based on like who that person actually is. It could be like a manifestation of Algol's will wanting to come to realization in this timeline, or it could also be as well just like using manipulative tactics to try and get things to go the way that he wants them to go. I don't think there's anything more than outside of that. We also see these kind of like shrouded figures in Cassandra or Saphitia's Soul Chronicle, which I also think is the same person just trying to manipulate things and behind the scenes to try and get them to go the way that they want. Solar495 says, another personal favorite of mine. I definitely think he could act as a secondary antagonist, or maybe even a slight anti-hero type role in regards to Cervantes. Yeah, Cervantes has always been one of my favorite characters, mainly because of his playstyle. I really like how he kind of teleports and goes from like one end of the screen to the other, similar to like Raiden. Except it's the 8-way run module, so you can actually control like the directions he goes. The gun stuff is great. I just really like his gameplay overall. His story has always been like kind of basic, but like it seemed like that they're trying to get more in depth with that, which is respecting to me because I really want to see more done with the character. Terrence Sproul says, "One of my favorite characters, OG Cervantes. I always liked his story. You're the best." Thank you for the great comment, and yes, as I just said, I love Cervantes as well. Ashton Bird says, "Personally, I love using Cervantes' fighting style because it's more like a gun style, sword style, and it bums me out for not getting Ezio's weapon style for creative characters because it was interesting to use. Though I wish we got some dual katanas like Shura's in Soul Calibur 4. In the end, I enjoyed the video and appreciate the video." And then he goes on to talk about his Switch. But then he says, "I know this is off topic, but there's a reason these guest characters in Soul Calibur 6, I would want someone other than Tifa and Cloud because I would want some other characters to have their time to shine, though it depends on Project Soul and their money situation." Yeah, if you guys want to know my thoughts on the guest characters, I've made videos on that in the past, so you can go check that out. As far as Ezio's, they are given certain licensing rights, but they weren't allowed before to actually use any of the guest characters' styles for create a character. I mean, they started like with like the separate styles in Soul Calibur 3, and then they moved on to like not including any of the boss stuff, and then taking away the bonus characters and just like getting souls of copy of moves. But I hope they go back to something where our creative characters have a different moveset, because it's a little boring, I guess you can say, when you have like the exact same moveset that you have for cast characters, and you can have some more headcanon when you have your character against them if you like you're doing different moves, in my opinion. Patriots1112 says, "Cervantes is such a badass, probably the most badass in the series." Again, of course, I really like Cervantes. There's not much about him that I actually don't like. He's an awesome character, and he was one of my first mains, so I can't argue with that. His badassery is unquestioned. That's all 777 again says, "I would love a prequel game remake of Soul Edge Soul Blade with him as the antagonist again. Thick you for another rad video, man. Thick you, bro." And yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna get that. We may get like a side timeline thing about like something that happened in the past, showing more stuff in maybe a future Soul Chronicle or a future game mode. But as far as the timeline's concerned, this is covering like Soul Calibur 1 and 2 and somewhat 3. So I'm pretty sure they're just getting ready back to the status quo to get rid of Soul Calibur 5. So I think Soul Edge is pretty much just like rewritten as it's told in the characters' histories in these Soul Chronicles that we're seeing. Roxas 3 Sor XX says, "Siegfried is my main. His story is one that captivates me the most and has one of the most unique personalities in the game. I've always felt like he is the main character of the series because he was chosen by Soul Calibur and the sword that visually symbolizes good. I've always liked his design, and his weapon is Bay. But his design in Part 3 and 4, in my opinion, has been unmatched so far. I hope they make it a Soul Calibur 7 and hope that it's as good as 3 was." Well, 3 for me is always the pinnacle of greatness, so if anything comes close to that, especially with the amount of game modes that are in that game, then I'll be extremely happy. As far as the rest of the comment goes, Siegfried was supposed to be the main character, but the popularity of the character waned over time due to his weapon style, and lend more towards Kilik and Sophitia, but he was always a cool character. It's just that he's got a very, I don't want to say basic personality, but it's a trope that's been done in like anime and other games like a million times over. So he's kind of got like the Sasuke thing going on. But I do like the character, and he does have a unique weapon style, so like I actually do like the big sword and all that. As far as Soul Calibur representing good, I guess you can say it symbolizes it, but it's definitely in the lore of the game. Soul Edge and Soul Calibur aren't the representations of like the concepts of good and evil. They're just pretty much two sides of the same coin. They're sister concepts. Like they both do the same exact thing and accomplish the same exact way. And it's kind of hinted at that when we see their like battles in like previous games. Whereas it's like they're doing the same thing. They possess people and give them power to meet their own ends, and they absorb their souls. So there's not much you can say that it like actually symbolizes good. If you want to in your head, that's completely fine. But as far as the lore in the game goes, in the past, they've previously pretty much gotten rid of that concept. Metal Raptor says, great video, Mark. If there's one thing I don't want to see return, it's Siegfried's crystal armor from Soul Calibur 4. God, it looked ridiculous. There's not really a whole lot I can say on this, to be honest. I don't usually play as Siegfried because I'm not a big fan of his style, but he's a cool character. I think he's a cool character too. I think the whole crystal armor from Soul Calibur 4 was meant to be a nightmare version of Soul Calibur, if that makes sense. Because Siegfried changes into Nightmare from being possessed by Soul Edge for so long, and then when he's trying to go up against it, it's pretty much like Soul Calibur dipping in all of her power and possessing Siegfried, but still giving him his will. So it's pretty much him being a good version of Nightmare in Soul Calibur 4. That's what they were going for. That's Little 777 says, he's my favorite character, dude. Rad. I thought the story was the most compelling out of the cast. The story of mad child of a monster to hollow of a man to a hero of redemption. That's such a great hero's journey. He's like Anakin Skywalker done right, at least if you ask me. I even dig how Chad the dude is in Soul Calibur 5. I like how he's done in the new timeline, giving you more of a look at how damaged he is. Even his look with the messed up looking arm to the blue showing up his shiny armor to show that he's not completely rid of Soul Edge's grasp on him. The only thing I do like is that, I don't know, if he beats Inferno Cervantes in this new timeline. Also, I know this is lame, but I ship. Yeah, I know shipping is lame. Him and Sophitia, but that's a whole different subject. Anyways, always great job on the vid, man. Thick you. It'd be kind of hard to like ship him with Sophitia though, because Sophitia is like married in like the lore. So, that's cool if like that's like your thing for shipping them. I'm not gonna like fault you for that. Like, there's characters that I want to see get together, mainly like Mitsurugi and Taki, but I don't think any of that stuff's ever gonna happen. And relationships aren't really done very well in the Soul Calibur franchise, in my opinion. It's kind of like Dragon Ball, but they're just like there and then they're just like together. Like they don't really show any of the getting up to points in that. But everyone has their own headcanons, right? Blood Angel says Raphael's new lore. Raphael's new lore is coming on Monday. How you doing, Mark? This is from Marcus Bullard. It's a fun fact for you about Halmaru. Halmaru's Japanese voice actor, Daiki Nakamura, is the same one as voices him in Capcom vs. SNK2 and Sham Show 2019. In my opinion, he will always be the best voice actor to fit Halmaru's character and personality. Soul Calibur and Tekken is different when it comes to voice acting. For Tekken, each character from a different country has their own native language, but Soul Calibur is both English and Japanese audio. Halmaru sounds better in his native language than the English dub to me, because him speaking English sounds pretty weird and awkward. I would have to... First of all, the Tekken... Obviously, we know that Tekken's team has way bigger budget than Soul Calibur, but that's always been my favorite aspect, actually, of Tekken, is that every character actually speaks their own homeland language. So, like, the Koreans speak Korean, the Japanese people speak Japanese, the English people speak English, so on and so forth, all the way down the line. It's always been a really cool aspect to me, especially when, like, they speak Korean properly, so I like that a lot. Jacoba says, my favorite version of Nightmare is the one from 6. We shall see if the future holds for him. Who will the armor next time? Siegfried again, or maybe someone else? Thanks, Mark, for the video. Good as always. Well, thank you for the compliment. Great as always. There's a lot more lore vids coming up. I know that they aren't as view-worthy as my other stuff. I just want to get this out of the way because we haven't talked about it before, and there are some videos that are pertaining to this new lore that I want to get into, and I don't want to leave people behind who haven't really played all the Soul Chronicles and stuff, because some people just play the story or just play online. So if this is interesting to you, thank you for watching, and leave a like to show that it is interesting, because the view counts on these lore videos are pretty low. I am still going to do them. I want to complete every character in the game, minus the guest characters, because their lore doesn't really matter. And I'm going to go into my Malfested series after that. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please hit the like button. It really helps out my channel a lot. And share the video and all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys on Monday for our next video, which will be Raphael's new lore. As always, guys, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck, because I just launched my merch store, and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content, and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up, so you can show your support for the channel, and just rep Mark Yoon. Alright, guys, as always, thick U.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Next time, we dive more into the Soul Calibur 6 lore and find out more information on our favorite characters and mythos. Stay tuned for next time.